For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod driveline components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio, NHRA Nitro. This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio back on the air, getting ready for the Arizona Nationals, but we have got to check in with the winners of the Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gatornationals, and I know that seems kind of weird, right? Like, how are the Gators going in front of Arizona? And that is the new reality for 2023. Gainesville, first race, spectacular. It was awesome. We're going to hear from our Pro Stock winner, Troy Coughlin Jr., on this show just seconds from now. If you're a fan of the factory hot rods, guys, look, it's as simple as this. The Pro Stock fans are super die hard. They love it. And maybe fans of Nitro don't quite understand it. The best way for us to grow Pro Stock and the fandom and make people understand and appreciate all the nuance and what goes on and how technical and amazing it is to share the show right now. Just share WFO Radio on your social media and you'll be good to go. Before we get to Troy, I want to tell you about the people who make it possible for me to go WFO and chase drivers around and do this show on a regular basis. You already heard about FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters, but what about the folks at Foggit? That's right, Foggit, talking about Gary Stinnett, Steve Williams, bringing this amazing new product to market. And I'm seeing the decals and the logos everywhere. They got a contingency fund for racers out there. All you got to do is use some Foggit. Protect the inside of your engine. You spend so much money building the thing. You could spend a little extra money protecting it. When you put it away at the end of the night, there's condensation. It can change the way the thing runs the next day. A little spray of Foggit goes a long way. Go to the website, foggit.com, to find out more and start using it on your car. It also works on firearms as well, and people are finding countless other uses for Foggit. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. You go out there. We do this Hidden Horsepower podcast. This past weekend, I was at the AERA conference, the skills conference, and uniformly, people understand that ring seal is vital to making power. That's it, ring seal, the surface of the cylinder wall. And the folks at Total Seal are pushing that technology forward. Narrower, more flexible, et cetera, and so on. So if you've got a bracket car, or if you're running in Pro Stock, and even some of the Nitro guys are starting to experiment with Total Seal. Go to TotalSeal.com, give them a call, Keith Jones, Lake Speed, get on board. And for your next engine, if you're a racer, or if you're an engine builder, call and talk to them because they can put you on track to unlocking that hidden horsepower. TotalSeal.com. Phillips Connect, Justin Ashley and his team, Phillips-Connect. They're helping people out there with smart trailer technology. If you're out there over the road, if you've got trucks, trailers, a fleet, you want to monitor them. Not just where are they, but are they loaded? Are they unloaded? Were they loaded and now unloaded? What's up with that? Is there a wheel bearing heating up? Is there a braking problem? They make connected sensors for all of these things, and they help you learn how to monitor all your vehicles over the air, online, and it is a great deal. Mr. Epler is at all the races. He's got the trailer out there. You can find out more, or you can email me, Joe at WFOradio.com, and I'll put you together with the folks at Phillips Connect. Bernie Speed Shop. Great video just dropped earlier this week about the big fan fest at Bernie's. That thing was mega. There was like 5,000 people came through the door, and I would imagine we're going to do it again next year. But if you're in the market for a classic muscle car, if you want to buy or sell on consignment, they do it all. If you're looking for a restoration, they do frame-off restorations. They've got a paint and body shop. They've got an engine shop. They've got a whole, it's like a universe down there at Bernie's. Go to their website, BURNYZZ.com. Follow them on social media to learn a little more about Bernie's Speed Shop. Great stuff. Later on in the show, I'll tell you about samtech.edu. I will tell you about Frank Hawley's drag racing school. And I'll tell you how to get some of the best coffee in the world from Marvin Rodak at Rodak'sCoffeeandGrills.com. But right now, let's go out to our Pro Stock winner. The first race of the year, his third career win, but this has to be one of the biggest. The Amalie Motor Oil NHRA Gatornationals, Troy Coughlin Jr. What's up, Troy? Congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited. And I'm also very much looking forward to getting going again. We'll be in Arizona in just a couple of days, followed by a little back-to-back at Pomona, the In-N-Out Burger Pomona drag strip, newly renamed. And you've got all the momentum going into Arizona. Tell me about that Gatornationals win.
Oh, geez. I mean, lot of emotions, that's for certain. I had my grandfather, Jegs Sr., with me, my dad. My daughter, Aubrey, was there, my wife, Brenna. So it was definitely a bucket list thing to have pretty much most of my family there. I got a huge family, so not everybody was there, but it was really cool to have most everybody there to witness that and share that moment with, and lots of fun. And heck, the car was awesome and just a great way to start the year, and hopefully we can continue with that momentum.
That's awesome. Try to get yourself in the middle of the screen right now, because I might clip. You might say something great. I want you to be right in the middle of the screen, looking right at the camera, so I can play that thing over and over again, whatever it happens to be. Let's talk about, number one qualifier and stormed through the rounds. But it wasn't the best weekend for Team Elite. You had to save the day, and you did. But talk about qualifying and how you guys were able to unload a big run that got you number one.
Jeez, I mean, that's just a huge testament to the guys in the engine shop. I mean, they work hard, making power over the winter in the dyno room. Just everybody at Elite Motorsports, they work extremely hard, whether on the cars, in the engine shop, in the office. Everybody works together. It's a great group of people that everybody believes in the common belief of wanting to win. So we kind of banded together and got it done.
I'm looking over your shoulder at those great classic Jegs photographs, right? You're at Jegs right now working. Yep. And in the interest of truth in reporting, TJ and I are pre-recording this interview. I know some of my listeners, they love for them all to be live, but you and I are both kind of headed to Arizona. And we were able to get together a little earlier in the week at this time. And so, might be disappointing to some of our folks out there, but I do want to tell them right at the beginning, hey, guys, pre-recorded, but Troy's at work. I'm traveling, but we're getting it done. So let's talk about first round, Troy. You had to run Larry Morgan. Shows, first of all, Larry Morgan and that Beaver Motorsports team, they qualified in a very tough field. One of the Quadra cars did not qualify. What does that tell us about what's going to be happening in Pro Stock this year, competition-wise?
I mean, it's probably going to be tight. I mean, it's probably going to be 700-800 between 1 to 16, and which is, I mean, what we've known my whole life is what Pro Stock's been. So I really don't know any different, but I think that's exciting. It's going to be fun. You got to be really on your toes up front on the Christmas tree, and you got to bang through the gears, and you got to make really good competitive runs. And it's going to be tough. I think that's ultimately what we want.
You were able to get around Larry and set up a great battle in the second round where you took on Derek Kramer. We heard Michael Heiner's version of this race earlier in the week on our Hear It From Heiner Patreon show, and he knew it was going to be a tough matchup, and it was a tough matchup. You're 37, he's 49, you're 56-4, he's 57-1. So that's a perfect example of one of those races that could genuinely go either way.
Oh, absolutely. It usually is a really tight race when we race those guys. I really wasn't my best up front the first two rounds of the race. Just kind of running through the motions and trying my best to hit the tree, and could have been a lot better up front, but just it worked out. One of those runs where kudos to everybody on my team for giving me a great race car on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. But now you're getting that momentum, right? Like the first round, you said not so great, but in the first round, you got to run 16. So in theory, you've earned the easiest race, as if there is such a thing. Second round, you guys run Derek Kramer and Michael Heiner and those guys. Semifinals, Dallas Glenn, the defending race winner. And Dallas has got that nickname, 00 Dallas. So you brought your game and had your best light of the day so far.
Yeah, when you run Dallas, I mean, you got to be on your toes. You got to try and hit it the best you can. The goal is always to try and be mid to low teen and bang through the gears. Don't grab any chips and try and make your best lap possible. So just get in there and hope for the best and get after it. It worked out.
Whole shot victory over Dallas. And let's take a second to think about the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, right? He gets a shot at you Saturday in qualifying. Like, that's what it's all about. We're bringing them back. We're trying it again. You could start the year 2-0 against Dallas Glenn, or he could get some revenge and kind of stave off that negative feeling. There's money. There's championship points on the line. What's your take on that whole program? And it's definitely going to add some excitement. And when was the last time you knew you were going to run someone weeks in advance, right? Like, you were thinking and planning. It's almost like a match race or like a grudge race where guys like me can ask you and Dallas, and what's it going to be in the last race, all that stuff. What do you think about this program, Troy?
I think it's really exciting, and I'm absolutely jacked for it, and I can't wait personally to get there. I wish I was flying right now, believe me. I think it's going to be a great race between Dallas and I, and our guys are pumped for it, and we're ready to go. And heck, I think big wheels are rolling as we speak. So let's get it on.
Would you like to trash talk Dallas Glenn right now?
Geez, we're just two bracket racers out there hitting the tree and grabbing gears. Really, I think if we had it our way, we'd probably put dial-ins on tires and race that way too. But I don't know how well that would look.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You just said it, though. You guys are two bracket racers. You guys came up with that passion for drag racing, whatever, right? And you've both made it to pro stock, and now you're going to hammer on one another. And those championship points, though, like, that is something of significance. Points after Reinhart and I were having a big debate about what's more important, right? The money, the cash money that they're giving away. I don't think it's cash, by the way. I think it's a check. But those championship points after the countdown reset could be worth so much more. We just don't know what's going to happen. We'll have to wait and see. But that makes it very important. This is not just some for show kind of race. It's significant.
It's definitely a big deal. And you definitely want to turn those two win lights on and get all you can. That's for certain. I think we're going to be gunning for the win lights and just go after making good laps. Just continue where we left off and get after it. We have a really good race car right now and the Jegs.com white capsule machine, and just make good laps. Just keep going.
Making laps, exactly. You had to run Mason in the final round. Mason resurgent. We've been talking a little bit this year about how Elite's got 8 cars and KB Titan's got 7 cars, and that's pretty much the whole field. And would be good if the McGahays got healthy to have a third. And Frank Iaconio's in there too. He's kind of part of the Elite umbrella somehow, but it'd be nice to have those guys do well. And sure enough, Mason McGahay delivers in that first race, gets to the final round. You knew how hungry that kid was. Tell me about preparing for the final round. And you had to wait a little longer. We did Pro Stock Motorcycle, Nitro cars, then you guys last. Fans watching on TV, some were annoyed, some were happy the Nitro cars got in. Did that affect your rhythm at all? And tell me about the run against Mason.
No, you just kind of get up there and when they're ready for you to run, you make your run, but you just kind of stay focused and you're going to make a lap, and it's the same lap you're going to make whether you wait or not. But just did what we had to do. We needed to try and be 20 or better and make a really good run, because we know they're just as fast, and he's making great runs, and he can club the tree, and the kid can definitely drive, and he's definitely hungry for his first win. And we were just excited to be there, and we got it done. We're really happy.
22 reaction time in the final. You said in the media center that you could feel it like moving around or maybe trying to shake. You describe it, but through first gear was it a bit of an adventure. And then when you got it into the next gear, you said you felt it like it's going, right? And now it's going and you are onward to victory. But just describe the feeling of that run in the media center. You made it seem like it was action-packed.
Once we got out of low gear, it was good to go. Yes, low gear was definitely action-packed, to say the least. That's for sure. It was starting to quiver just a little bit and kind of get through that spot, that shake zone, but it made it through. Like I said, we have a great car and a great group of people behind it and everybody to lead motorsports. And I'm just, I'm excited. I can't wait to get to Phoenix. You got me all fired up.
Good. That's the point of the show. And everybody should be watching on NHRA.tv and watch on NHRA on Fox. We had great ratings for the TV shows. That was good. Tell me about these guys, right? Like I was at the World Series of Pro Mod and I saw Casey Freeman, who is on Aaron's car, trash talking a couple of, I think it was your guys, right? And the inside team elite dynamic is something that maybe needs a little more exposure because it seemed like it was pretty brutal over there. Like, it's not just like, hey, I hope you win. It's we're going to get after you guys. And obviously the rest of the field. Talk a little bit about the dynamic that goes on amongst the teams. Obviously, there you guys are in the winner circle, but what is it like working at Elite, knowing that your toughest competition comes from inside the house?
It's a lot of fun, and you got to have thick skin, that's for sure. Between, Kelly and Ricky and Kyle Bates and Mark Ingersoll, Tim Freeman, Chase, Jake Harrison. I mean, gosh, there's so many people. You couldn't possibly mention everybody. But Richard's built a really neat program. It's really exciting. It's a family. It's reminds me a lot of my family team where I came from, and all these photos back here. It's got a university-like feel to it. It's very unique, but it's just a ton of fun. There's a lot of camaraderie to it. And there's just the trash talk internally it's fun. It's a lot of bragging rights, and you just have to come to the ropes and listen to us. But there's a lot of banter, that's for certain.
I love that. Okay, you mentioned your grandpa was there. First time he'd been to a race in a long time. I know it was very special to you. I saw him on the starting line for a second. I was going to try to get him for an interview just because I knew that was unusual that he was there, but he disappeared right after you won. But speak on that, because he's the guy who started it all, right? Without him and some vision, there's no Jegs. And that means, Troy, I fully expect you'd still be here, but who knows what you'd be doing, right? Maybe if he didn't like drag racing, if he liked plants or something, you'd have a nursery somewhere. Who knows? To win with him in the house and be able to share that moment with him, another generation of winning Jegs drivers that are, directly related to his concept.
It's pretty cool because we've talked about that for a long time. I remember being a kid when he was the crew chief on Uncle Jag and Dad's Pro Stock cars and my Uncle John and Uncle Mike's Pro Stock trucks. I always talked about someday wanting to drive a Pro Stock car. And I wanted him to be the guy that helped me get into it and back me up for my burnout and just be my crew chief. And when I'd win, how exciting it would be. But I was awful young at that point. To have him there for that was really surreal. It was definitely full circle. So definitely very special. And he was very happy to be there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Did you guys have a moment? Was there a moment where you acknowledged all that history together?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's great. So you got to do that kind of stuff. All right, let's look ahead to Arizona and also Pomona at the new In-N-Out Burger Pomona drag strip with that race track renamed. Super exciting. But you are kind of got a rival thing going. What's up with White Castle, right? Are they on? Are they in? Is this thing a real deal? Troy and I have been talking about this behind the scenes underground for a year. And so what's the status?
They're on board with us this year. They're going to join us as an associate sponsor. And you're going to see a lot of little cheeseburgers, that's for sure. It's a lot of fun. Another family brand right out of here in Columbus, Ohio. More family business-like history. So just exciting deal. You got to go to a freezer and try it. If you've never had it, try it. It's a fun brand.
What kind of person has never had White Castle? That just seems
it's a story in a cheeseburger. I mean, everybody's been there at 2 a.m. depending upon what you were doing at 2 a.m. I mean, it's like I said, it's a story inside of a little cheeseburger. It's very unique. You just have to experience it. So come on by and try it. If you're at a track where a White Castle's near, we're probably going to have a bunch of White Castles at our pit area. So if you want to try one and we have some, by all means, come get one.
That's great news. You know, at the U.S. Nationals, we get out of there very late and heading back to the hotel. Very often, that is the only option, right? And so, you know, you get a pack of White Castle and you head into the room and you feed and you enjoy it. And that's that. So I'm excited for you to have that relationship. And we got to figure out some cool thing. All the White Castle guys, if you're watching, good call on this guy. All right, so headed to Arizona. Aaron Stanfield, the defending race winner. What do you know about what we're going to see out there, weather conditions wise, and what's it going to take to go back to back to start the season and really make a statement?
It looks like it's going to be low 70s. Didn't see much wind either. So I would imagine the track should be really good with the weather. And I think ET wise, I think low 50s, mid to low 50s, 650s. I think I'm going to have to be 22 or better just about every hit, and we're going to have to make really good laps. Just be consistent and keep going. Just keep making laps.
Yeah. No, I like your mental attitude, Troy. It's you said it once before, right? Like, don't think of the outcome, think of what to do. You had your own way of saying it, but
the process, you got to be process oriented.
Process oriented. Just focus on what you're supposed to be doing and the rest will sort itself out. You're really bringing that to the forefront. And so far, 1 for 1 in 2023. Troy, thank you very much for making the time. I appreciate you. This is great stuff. I have a feeling this is not going to be our last conversation of 2023, though. Good luck in the Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and feel free, like, I don't know what exactly we as an NHRA are going to be doing with that, but we're going to be trying to hype it as much as is possible, especially early on, because I think there's going to be a lot of race fans that don't really fully understand we've got significant and important racing happening on Saturday. So we're going to try our best with that.
Cool. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Troy, thank you very much. Back to Verk. Appreciate you making the time.
Thank you.
There he goes. Troy Coughlin Jr. with us here on WFO Radio. Yes. Mission Foods Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, Saturday, Arizona Nationals, Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park. On our Ignition podcast, we had eight people who are members of our VIP listener club, the Patreons, who get all kinds of special benefits. And what are they? Well, you get to make a pick. And so we asked about Top Fuel and Pro Stock, because, asking all 4 categories, it was like a lot of information. But of the 8, 4 picked Troy Coughlin Jr. to beat Dallas Glenn, and 4 picked Dallas Glenn to beat Troy Coughlin Jr. What did we learn from this? We learned that we should have 9 people make picks. That's what we learned, because we have an even deadlock number. We can't just have 8 people make picks. I should have known that, right? As a guy facilitating the degenerate gambling. But see, that's what I think about the Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge. Like, I would love for Vegas to get involved in this. We got a whole week or 2 weeks sometimes to think about who's going to run whom, and what's the story? All of their background, all of it. Like Troy just said, Dallas Glenn, hey, trash talk him, right? He's like, no, man, we're a couple of bracket racers, but going way back. But we both know how to let the clutch loose. We both know how to row the gears, and somebody's going to walk away as the winner. And if it's Troy, that would be 2-0 against Dallas to start the season in 2 weeks. Nobody wants to start off like that. If you're Dallas, if you're Troy, you're thrilled. And that's the whole point. Other side of the ladder, for those that are interested, 6 people picked Greg Anderson. 2 people picked Mason McGahey. Okay. Out of our 8, should I have had 9 people make picks? Of course I should have. Of course I should have. The other category we did, Mike and Leah will race 4-4. Mike and Leah. Steve and Doug going to race 4-4. So the failure of my facilitating the pick segment, very obvious. Should have had an odd number of people make picks. But there you go. All right, guys, speaking of the Patreons, let me tell you how to join. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. Patreon.com/WFO samtech.com/WFO radio. You get special content. You're part of this unique organization. It's not really that organized, but we're trying to create as many perks and benefits as is possible for the VIP listener club. And if you join for a full year, because it's still at the very beginning of the year, I will send you a t-shirt in addition to all the other Patreon swag, the decals, the patch, the pin, although we're almost out of pins. And once the pins are gone, I don't think we're going to renew the pins. They're too difficult to mail out, man. That's the thing. You want to put a pin in a little envelope, all of a sudden it changes it from an envelope to a package. Ugh. You understand how it goes. All right, let me tell you about samtech.edu. I was just at an AERA skills conference in Atlanta, Georgia area, up at CWT Industries, where they do engine balancing. And a great collection of engine builders and students, future engine builders. And Samtech's name got mentioned like 6 times as, who's going to do these jobs? Who are going to be the people doing these jobs? This is vital American industry. You must have machinists. You must have them. It's not the kind of job that we can just let it go away. That people talk about the buggy whip and the buggy whip maker. Well, that's not what machining is. There's always going to be someone that is machining something of importance. Is it a bridge girder? Is it programming a CNC machine? Is it tuning a race car? Is it doing engine blocks? Is it building armament? Our country needs this. And the folks at Samtech provide a great way to get started into this field that I got to tell you, everybody that I'm encountering that's in it, they're loving it. They're enjoying their lives. They feel in control. They feel like they've got a job that they can take from one state to the next, because right now it's underserved and underappreciated. So go to samtech.edu, call Brian Massengill, tell him you heard about it on WFO, and see what's up. And you don't have to be like 18 to do this either. You could be, they're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill, samtech.edu. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. This is cool because they've got a program called the Dragster Adventure that I love telling everybody about because it's something for you, a regular person. Maybe you want to be like Hartford's brother, Adam, and go get your super gas license. And that's cool. It's a bigger program. Or maybe you just want to drive a dragster a couple of times. Just spend the day there with your buddies and all go do something. Like there's that thing, drive a sports car around a track for 15 minutes in Vegas. Or you can make 3 blasts down a drag strip in a super comp dragster with Frank Hawley. And I think one is much better value than the other. And that's obviously Frank Hawley. Go to frankhawley.com, find out more information, and do the Dragster Adventure this year. Make a plan. It works as a great gift. And maybe you're trying to showcase what drag racing is to a friend or a family member who doesn't quite get it. How could they? Until you put them in the cockpit of a race car. Then they will. And then there's Marvin Rodak. 817-924-6821. This guy, Marvin, great guy. He's already trying to recruit people to the big Patreon meetup at the Stampede of Speed. But if you like coffee, and I know you do, 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. Call Marvin. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio, but they also have got hot sauces and spice rubs and everything that is good in the grilling world. It's a level up. Rodax, coffeeandgrills.com. Bernie Speed Shop, of course, BURNYZZ.com. Check out their social media. And I tweeted out the video that they produced. You get to see a lot of the great stuff out at Bernie's. Thanks to Josh Hart. Thanks to Phillips Connect. Justin Ashley, looking for a big rebound weekend out at the Arizona Nationals. But Phillips Connect always wins because they've got the smart trailer technology. Sensors connected over the road. FTI performance transmissions and torque converters. You just look on the winning cars. Pro Modified. They had that FTI Pro Mod Showdown, which was very interesting. What I learned is that a lot of the Pro Mod racers got FTI, but they don't tell anybody because they don't want anybody to know what they're running. That's kind of interesting. But I'll tell you, FTIperformance.com. 890, big money brackets, street applications, high horsepower, monster trucks, mega trucks. If you've got a high horsepower application that has to live and also perform well, go to FTIperformance.com. Foggett, of course. Gary sends me a video, the Project Pontiac is. We need a block now, And that has just opened up a whole chain, right? Like a chain reaction of things. Well, you need a block, then you need a crank, and you need this, and you need that. And what should we do? The old stuff, the new stuff, et cetera, and so on. One thing I know for certain, though, is that I will be using Foggit long into the future because I can see rust and corrosion on the inside of my cylinder walls. The good news for me is that the product didn't quite exist back then. But for all of you, it does. So go to Foggit.com, Foggit. For all you Lucas Oil Series racers out there, get in on the contingency program. In Division 2, you go see Todd Barton. They just had a big race down there at South Georgia Motorsports Park. But get in on the contingency program, and this works for firearms. It works for anything metal that you're trying to reduce corrosion and inhibit rust. And people are finding all kinds of great methods for it, like in the machine shop, while machining as a machining assist lubricant. So check it out, Foggit.com. And Total Seal piston rings. Next week, we will be doing our shows, some of them, on location at Total Seal. That's right. Total Seal piston rings. So we're going to hear from Keith Jones, hopefully. We're going to hear from Eddie Granaccia. We're going to hear from a bunch of folks at Total Seal next week after the Arizona Nationals. And so stay tuned for that. TotalSeal.com. If you need a ring, if you need a set of rings, industry leader, unlock the hidden horsepower. And when you get your engine done, or perhaps you're an engine builder, call Total Seal and tell them you heard about it on WFO Radio. Super excited to be back there. I've been going to the P.O. box, and there's been some stickers, envelopes in there. P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida. If you'd like some free WFO Radio stickers, you just got to make it so I don't have to do any work. You do a self-addressed stamped envelope. Go to Google. How do I create a self-addressed stamped envelope? You put your address on one. You stuff it in an envelope with the stamp addressed to you, and you put it in another envelope addressed to me. I'll open it, find your envelope, put some stickers in it, and just put it in the mailbox. They used to do this a lot back in the day. This is like retro. Castello Media /WFO stickers, P.O. Box 848-353, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33084. And then when you get them, send a pic, man. I want to see the people with the WFO decals. We have been so lucky to have so many people with WFO decals doing well. And if you didn't hear the Ignition show, one of our Patreon listeners, Brittany, won her first ever bracket race. She's been a Patreon for over a year. She came out to us and hung out in Vegas, posting a lot of photographs of her Cutlass with the WFO decals. She goes out there at Famoso Drag Strip and wins her category. First win ever. And she told her story on the Ignition podcast. So check that out, guys. Check it out. And the best thing about it is we are creating this community where everybody is in on it and hopefully going racing. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, this was pre-recorded. We would love for you to subscribe. We'd love for you to click the bell, follow the show. I'm going to run this one a little different, see how it all works. But this was just convenience factor. Had to hit the road. And Troy Coughlin Jr. said, this is a great time, and we got together. You can definitely send me your comments and emails on the social, at WFO Joe on Instagram and Twitter. All our WFO radio stuff. Don't forget, hear it from Heiner, you Pro Stock fans. This is a Patreon-only show. Content to give value to the Patreons. What is it about? It's about Pro Stock. What do you talk about? Everything. Is there technical information? Yes, a lot of it. Breaking down the races, all the decisions. I had to do this, and I had to do this, and this set of tires, and this gear, and I wasn't sure. And Michael Heiner doing a great job with it. We throw a little Formula One conversation in there as well. Thanks to Troy Coughlin Jr., of course. Appreciate it, Troy. Can't wait to enjoy the White Castles and all of our sponsors. And all you folks that are excited about Project Pontiac, don't worry. We're not going to just give up. Gary Stinnett and I have had a couple of conversations about what the road ahead is. But we're not just going to give up. We came up with this great story. We're going to go NHRA Super Street Racing. We're going to resurrect an old car. We're going to go out, I'll stumble right out of the gate. Block is junk. What are we going to do? We're definitely going to do something. I assure you. All right, guys. Thanks to Troy Coughlin. Thanks to Team Elite. Everybody who helped behind the scenes. We'll see you in Arizona. WFO.